Patreon member shout out. I don't know what they're talking about. I'm making my own decisions. The thing I found ain't gonna bring me down. I'm like a junkie without an addiction. Mama, don't cry, I just wanna say I like playing with danger and fear. Everybody's walking. Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with a Veve OMI update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I'd love you all. If you'd say, where's Dashy? I am low on battery right now, so I need to be over here. There is a couple things going on today, one of which was I've gotten multiple messages about. It was essentially crypto, and I think a lot of people were messaging me before they watched the video. The video is like, is the OMI done for? Is the OMI the end? Again, that's really just the title and thumbnail of the video. If you actually watch it, it really isn't anything that we don't know already. It is nice to be reminded certain things. I think actually chriscoffee.eth over on Twitter had said he was going to be able to go and send that over to his Discord for people who were nervous about it. So like I said, there's not really any breaking news there. If there was any real crazy FUD that was like, and again, a FUD, if there was any strong criticisms or there was any real reason for us to think that OMI was done for, I'd be the first to tell you. I would be out so fast, but there's not. I was just listening in on Crypto Rain's channel. He had like a little bit of a think tank on there, and it's really nice to see a bunch of middle-aged guys, people that have been around the block several times, going and talking about this, saying that, oh, hey, guess what? This same thing happened with Cardano years ago, where bought it at 7 cents and 5 cents and 3 cents, and it went down to like 1.7 cents. Everyone was FUDding, everyone was selling, they were panic selling at the bottom, locking in their losses, and then what happened? Went to the moon. They do say that on that stream that they do see very similar things happening with OMI right now, and OMI markets are at not all-time lows, but they are relatively low compared to where we have been in the past. All things considered, we were higher last year. We were at 0.0078, 0.008, and that is before we had Marvel, that is before we had Disney, that's before we had a lot of other stuff where the app was crazy. The app was not good. The app was, for anyone that was here, sometimes we didn't have a marketplace for like weeks. The app would crash. The servers were not good. It was mayhem. And if you honestly think that we are only half as good as we were last year, then by all means, sell. Again, not financial advice. I'm not selling. I haven't moved anything. Jeremy Padua hasn't moved anything, as far as I know. A lot of people did want me to bring that up again. Jeremy Padua that had said, hey, Binance, hey, Coinbase, y'all should list OMI. He wasn't saying that OMI needed Binance and Coinbase, nor do I think he was saying that Coinbase and Binance needed OMI, but it would help make them a lot of money with that listing, a lot of ease of access. Again, what do people have right now? They have Bit4X, and they have, Gate.io doesn't allow American users anymore. Bitmart just got hacked recently. They're a relatively small exchange. They got hacked back in December, but trust for some of these exchanges is relatively low. I think even Coinbase had said Russian citizens, you're not allowed to use any of your money, which again, a lot of Bitcoin has been taken off of those exchanges. However, that means that they are not selling. They're taking off, they're putting in trust wallets, putting in whatever they have. So all this I do really think is bullish for OMI. Moving on, a couple things go on here. Even though I have addressed this many times, but pretty much every live stream or every video, I get comments on what about buybacks? So buybacks, even Reese had said, even if buybacks were, continuing to be a thing, they would not be able to keep up with replenishing the supply, even at, let's say, 10%. Like, however, let's say 60 billion, which I think that's how much were burned so far. 30 billion. We would have had to have bought 3 billion OMI to keep up with that. For every thing that they burn, 10% has to be bought from. That was, I think, hypothesized as part of the old tokenomics, but we wouldn't be able to do that. So what a good way to be able to replenish the reserve and the vault wallet is by going and saying, giving it utility, and then as we burn it ourselves, we would be able to go and say, oh, I want this land, I want this collectible, I want X whatever, and from the fees, from the utility, it could go straight to the burn wallet, but then a percentage of that could go to the reserve wallet to top it off. That would be a lot better. Either way, whether it's going to the burn wallet or it's going to the reserve, it is being taken out of the circulating supply. So it doesn't really matter to me whether it's in the vault, reserve, or the burn, because none of that will ever go into the circulating supply. Moving on. Why we did stop those in general was really not because we couldn't keep up with the buybacks, although that might have been part of the reason. I think the big part was just what's going on with Ripple right now, XRP and the SEC. Yes, Ripple will most likely win that, and we will most likely take some biting power away from the SEC, but God forbid we had, any lawsuits with them. That would, long term, that'd be good. We'd get down to probably 4 zeros at that point. Maybe not that much, but again, OMI really doesn't need to be in a lawsuit right now with the SEC. So they're doing whatever they need to do to not be that, to not be in that lawsuit, to make sure this is indeed a utility token, not a security. Again, we don't need to be. I'm very, 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 very happy that they are doing what needs to be necessary, even if it does mean delays of exchanges, delays of whatever, just because this is the best. Obviously, if you listen to everyone else, especially, try not to be classes here, especially people that are impatient and really don't know the ebbs and flows of the markets, and they have some short-term pain, says, oh, heck everything, get us on exchanges, just, do this just to make the coin go up short-term. Again, short-term thinking is what a lot of people do, that it only lasts so long. You might get some short-term happiness, but long-term, it's not good. It's like people that are on diets. Oh, yeah, let me eat this cake. Get some of that short-term mouth pleasure, but long-term it's just poison. It's really not good for you. So if they were to do that, if they were to try to appease the people, they were going to be able to go and say, yeah, let's get on these exchanges, let's do this, and accidentally, let's say somehow overstep their bounds and go from utility token to the I'm sorry about that, guys. From utility to security token. Sorry, I had to look that up real quick. That wouldn't be good. That, again, haste makes waste, so you don't want that. Moving on. It seems like Veve, as soon as I make these videos, they decide to put out these really epic tweets. Veve had tweeted out, hey Veve fam, no spaces / Discord AMA this week, but we'll be recording an overall platform update from Veve co-founders, David Yu and Dan Crothers, for release mid-next week. Stay tuned. So Reverend Alex G retweeted that, saying, been a while, so there's a fairly meaty update from the boss men coming in pre-recorded video format early next week, recording Friday afternoon, which means I'll need to start #Don'tAMA a little later. He does participate in Twitter Spaces quite a lot, saying instead of being an AMA, it's a Don't AMA. And I think they sing, I think they do. I've been a part of it, I think, once. I didn't speak, I was just, there was a bunch of music going on when I was there. I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. So there is a lot to go over. I'll break it down, different types of scenarios, which I think is most likely. Let's get started. So some of these do come from Super Duper Hank, saying that pre-recorded videos usually mean big news, from what I believe. It could just be big news that they just don't have all the information in front of them, thus can't answer questions or not allowed to speak of it. Thus they will not take any questions or AMA style. That actually really makes sense, that even on that actual tweet, they disabled comments, so no one could comment on it. And again, I think that really makes sense, because all of these people, again, very impatient. They're just gonna be like, when MTL, when this, when that. And that's really not productive. If you only have a certain amount of time, these co-founders who are brilliant, you don't want, 80 different people taking up the same questions. When Pokemon, when this, when that. They'll get to things when they get to things. You really want to make sure that things are being done correctly. And question everyone has to ask themselves, do you trust the team to deliver on what they say? 100,000% yes. For me, anyway. Again, I could make a really good FUD video if I want to be like, oh, it's been a year for this, and delays on this. And there's no reason for that. They deliver on everything eventually. Sometimes they do have to change, on a dime, and they do that very, very well. So again, do I trust them to do this? Yes. There is not anyone else that I would want to be behind the team right now. They're perfect, in my opinion. So pre-recorded video could also mean bad news, thus they don't want a panic to happen from the community, thus no questions or AMA format. He says, I don't think this will happen since Alex didn't seem to say much from his tweet, but if it was bad news, he probably wouldn't say anything. Thus those two scenarios I believe will happen. Good news is that, again, speculation, that they would expand their MTL to a larger group of 1,000 or so people each week or each day. I think each day. They would release an updated article on this. The web app would be live soon, and it's looking good. And again, this is just one of the scenarios that the burns will continue, but no buybacks. So they will offer OMI to buy NFTs through OpenSea and Veve app, probably Immutable X as well. And I think Coinbase NFT also. So thus they cannot issue buybacks anymore. Update on Veveverse and one big exchange coming. I will revert back to Jeremy Pador and his tweet before saying that, hey, Coinbase, hey, Binance, list them. And they wanted hashtag list them to get, or list OMI to get trending. I don't know if it did or not. But again, Jeremy Pador is very, very smart. He's not going to do something to put any of the listings in danger. Now, this could be him, wind the clocks back a few months last year when he made a post one day about stamps. Hey, look at these stamps. They're all really cool. And then the next day, OMI tweeted out that they had the United States Postal Service. So he could be doing something like that. Could be saying like, hey, and I don't think this would really sound like him, but let's say he knows something's coming, and then he used that, oh, look what I did. I helped get listed, get trending, and then, you can take the credit for it. Again, I don't think that's something that he would do personally. I think he is just having a little bit of fun. I think he does really just want to raise awareness to some of these bigger exchanges, maybe just, or it's just something to get the community excited. Again, he's very smart. He wouldn't do anything to put anyone else's money in danger, but his money in danger as well. So, moving on here. This is going to be a long video. I'm so sorry. A bad scenario on this, not AMA that they're going to do next week would be, let's say that a company might have bought Veve, which I doubt this would happen, or anyone bought Veve and they would not use the token. Again, even that this bad news is really not likely. Most likely, if anyone were to buy a OMI or Veve, which is doubtful, by itself, they would most likely want them to buy the whole shebang, buy all the OMI stuff, and if David and Dan are going to go and have a company buy all the OMI, that company would probably use that for something at some point. They probably would not shelve it. That really wouldn't make sense. So again, I really don't think that the bad news is anything to worry about. However, there is a lot to go over from Reverend Alex G. He did tweet a lot. I just wanted to have everyone's responses, read some of his responses, because not everybody will go through it. And there is a lot of information out here. So let's get to it. So before he tweeted or retweeted about Veve, he did make his own update about a day ago saying, quote, mostly a State of the Union type of community update. Won't be live, but look for it sometime next week, end quote. And for him to compare this to like a State of the Union thing, that generally is something that people look forward to, whether good or bad. Everyone watches it. And not that they're hyping this up, but they're making sure people are aware of it. So this is going to be a very big update, and I think this is something that's going to be very bullish. But afterwards, let's see what we got here. Tuck Skywalker saying, so how meaty out of 5? And he made a joke saying, like, please leave, please get out. He does have some quick whips every now and then. We have another one saying that maybe hit him with a list before we make another David's favorite collectible 3-hour recording. And Reverend Alex G responds, it's not an AMA, but this should cover a number of hot topics. So most likely, if you do have any feelings of, hey, they're not covering my topic, this AMA or this video should do it. And again, he's usually very, very good and responsive, as he is here. So somebody says, hi, Alex, will this update include the economy of cheap gems being traded that I only see damage Veve's business model? Which, to push back on that, I really don't see that damaging Veve's business model at all. I was previewed, or I had some info leaked to me, not from the company, just from a random person that had bought they bought like 50,000 gems. So that 50,000 gems is not leaving the app. They're not cashing out. Other people are just taking those 50,000 gems and they're spending it. So they're burning. So it's a lot of really, I see that as really, really bullish. But again, that's just my opinion. Again, if you have those gems and you cash them out, those gems are no longer in circulation. But if somebody has those gems and they spend it, Veve does make fees on that. So like I said, that's what I'm really bullish on. It says, unless it relieves pressure on the payout scale, pretty salty. I've been paying full price. And then that person keeps on going and says, just crickets on this then? Cheers. I'll keep trying to get an answer. Only really need an explanation. Couldn't look a friend in the eye and recommend this at the moment. So again, I think this person really is just going on and being really salty that they put in some money and it's not mooning, in like 3 weeks like a lot of people want. A lot of people are impatient. A lot of people that do invest in a OMI right now, I do see them as first-time investors, And again, this is their first time getting punched in the face financially, and not many people are handling it well. But Alex G does handle it well. He responds by saying, "Thanks for your patience?" ? Little joke there. But then he says, "We'll be covering many different topics, including security updates." So that is something that is going on. So he didn't say one way or the other what would be, but at some point maybe they'll say, "Hey, you can only transfer so many gems from one person to another." Obviously, if they were to do that, that only really you can only transfer currently 500 gems total. So if they say no transfers of gems, okay, well then you just have to pay the 2.5% fee. Send somebody a Kripken. Again, I'm not advocating people do this, but it's just a way if you do need to cash out, if you do have whatever in there. And again, as long as you do run the risk of buying stolen gems somehow. So you do run the risk of that, and they can restrict your account for that reason because of X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, if they do say, hey, no more transferring gems, people can just send somebody else a Kripken, they buy it, and so you just eat that 2.5% fee, and that's it. And then Women X Veve had said that they're super excited to be kicking off the weekend on Friday night, chatting with their YouTube channel with the amazing @Morgan Kiesling, and she is a Disney NFT artist. Reverend Alex G says, let's heckin' go to that. Macho Nacho says, will this video appease the peanut gallery? And Reverend Alex G says, nothing will ever appease the peanut gallery. That's why they're the peanut gallery. Again, it's just him having a little bit of fun. So that's pretty much all the updates for right now. Oh, I do have one more. Sorry, last one, and then that's it for the day. Recur did have its first launch, its first NFT sale. Apparently they did sell, I guess, what they needed to sell, but what they are doing is they are having these super secret rare, ultra rare, whatever they're called, that everyone's going to want. And they have 400,000 plus of these commons that almost nobody will want. And what they're doing is saying, hey, buy these packs for $10. You get 4 cards for $10. And what they're doing is that they're selling out, but the commons are not the ones that are really coveted. They're buying the packs just so they can get that super secret rare, just so that people can flip it. I don't know how many people are really going to hodl that. And again, even if it was for, I don't know if it was university stuff like college football stuff, or if it was college sports or professional sports. If it was professional sports, that's much less speculative. That would cause people to hodl a little bit. But for college, that is so speculative. You don't know how they're going to, even if they do well in there, you don't know if they're going to do well in the pros. They still have a chance of getting hurt. But what Recur seems to be doing is the opposite of a Comey. Where a Comey, what they do is they have the most desirable one be the common. Wonder Woman is the common. Woody is the common. Todd McFarlane is the common. When Pokemon comes out, Pikachu and all the starters will probably be commons. So, yeah, that's something that Recur, this is going to be a good judge of how they're going to do as a company. If they get a lot of feedback saying, hey, we don't like this, if they go and say, hey, none of the commons are doing really well on the secondary market, that's where Veve does really, really well, is that secondary market. It doesn't burn as much OMI as it does on the initial drop, but they have a large community there. I feel like a lot of people that get those commons are just going to be sitting there. Not a lot's going to be done. At least what Recur is doing, but let's see how they respond. And that's it. All right, everyone, please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. And everyone say, where's Dashy? I don't know. Be here next time. All right, I love you guys. Goodbye. Meow, 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 meow.